My career in aviation started at the bottom. So I answered an advertisement in the newspaper and joined Aer Lingus in 1986 and essentially counted tickets for 2 years and wondered, was I working in an airline or a tax office? I then moved from there to pricing, where I finally got the feel that I actually did work for an airline. I moved from pricing then to London as a sales executive, then to Switzerland as a country manager, then the Netherlands as country manager, then back to the UK as country manager, back to Ireland in 2000 as head of sales for Ireland, then head of sales Europe, then commercial director. And I was 6 years on the leadership team of Aer Lingus. So literally from the bottom to almost at the top. I then left Aer Lingus and began my teaching career until an opportunity arose with Emirates, and I joined Emirates as country manager, and I was with them for 8 years in charge of commercial, operations, cargo and finance. So quite a varied career, but it started off with answering an ad in the paper. I love teaching, and I suppose at that stage I felt I probably had more to offer in the business, and I probably missed being in the trenches on the day to day. So I got that fix, and I'm now over it, and I'm devoting myself now to teaching full time. It all goes back to 2001 and the awful events in New York on 9/11. And Aer Lingus at the time, we had two. So if you can picture the scene, all transatlantic lanes have been closed, and all transatlantic aircraft have been forced to land at Gander in Newfoundland. And Aer Lingus had two aircraft that were forced to land at Gander, and one of them went tech. So there was 500 passengers stranded. So on the 12th of September, I joined a small team and we flew to Gander. And we had a special approval to fly across the Atlantic because it was a humanitarian flight. So we had mechanics to fix the broken aircraft, and we had tons and tons of toiletries and everything else to look after the passengers. And I said to my wife, I'll be back probably tomorrow. We're going to go over and back. I was there for a week and a half until we were able to get the aircraft out, fix the broken aircraft, and bring everybody home. So that was quite an experience, particularly given what was going on in the rest of the world. No, but when I got back to Ireland then, I was faced with a new challenge, that the airline itself was close to going under because of the effects of the 9/11 and other things that happened that year. So I was then part of a very small team working with Willie Walsh to put together a survival plan to turn the airline around. And that was both scary and exhilarating, but certainly the most fun I've ever had in my 37 years, because we were successful. And Aer Lingus is an airline now that's in very good health, but it came very, very close to going out of business around October, November 2001. So I suppose it's all about that time. And it was all about, I suppose, taking risks, operating with incomplete information, making big decisions and following them through, and I suppose learning how to vary your approach depending on the level of risk. I suppose the importance of working with a team and leaning on others and using other people's expertise and being able to contribute your own. And I suppose recognizing that you yourself have something to contribute while you're among all these experts. Your voice is equally as important. But also, I suppose, the importance of taking decisions. You know, even if it's a bad decision, at least you're taking a decision. I subsequently worked with another CEO many years later who just didn't believe in making decisions and would actually proudly say, I will only make a decision when I have to. And that's really quite frustrating and no way really to operate. So what I liked working for Willie particularly was it was very straight. It was one decision after another, and we just kept going. I think you have to have a curiosity. It's a very complex business. I mean, I went in knowing a little bit about aviation, and over 37 years learned a lot. I still didn't learn it all. So being curious, I mean, being prepared to work hard. It is a tough business. Long hours. Sometimes your circadian rhythms get upset because you may be operating in different time zones. But being able to be part of a team and not feel threatened by others, to be able to stand up and make your own contribution, but also to defer to those who know more. And I certainly, in the operational side, working with pilots, working with air traffic controllers, I clearly was an expert in what they were doing, but neither were they an expert maybe in what I knew. So it was being able to pool our information and our knowledge to ultimately get to an outcome that was good for the business. I'm looking forward to seeing you on my overview of the aviation industry course with Air Class and to share with you some of my experiences and some good stories that you hopefully will find of value in your career in the aviation industry.